Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get Better, a show about two longtime friends trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. I'm Zach Johnson.
And I'm Sam Cherry.
Hey, Sam. I was just going to go ahead and start the episode by getting into the big news of the week. Sam and I don't normally talk about news. This isn't normally a news podcast, but
Sure. When I checked, there was no news today. I checked again, and there's still no news. So
well, then you were
else.
not checking the Meet the Fockers 2 fockedup@gmail.com.
Oh,
because,
I wasn't.
As we all know, or as some of us know that are in the world, Alfred Molina, who played Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2, has just announced that he is reprising his role in the new Spider-Man 3 movie with Tom Holland. So is Andrew Garfield, as well as Kristen Dunst, as well as Jamie Foxx.
Wait, what?
And so all of those previous villains and heroes from the old Spider-Man movies, the Spider-Man movies, and the Amazing Spider-Man movies are all reprising their roles in the new Spider-Man continuity. And I'm happy to announce that Sam and I are also reprising roles. We are actually going to be playing, Sam and I are going to be playing the two kids from the subway scene in Spider-Man 2, the ones that hand Spider-Man his mask and say, "We won't tell nobody." That's going to be us.
That's you know what? That's how we met.
Yeah.
When we were those kids, that was how we met, was on there. Oh my gosh. Did Jenny get back to you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
I was wearing that Guy Fieri fire shirt, and then you were the other kid that looks like you. That was us, and we just got the call from Sony. And,
I always look like the kid that looks like me. To be fair,
that's true. So we got the call, and they're letting us come back, and it's going to be really great. Since like they said on the phone, they were like, it seems like everyone's coming back, and is this what you want? Is this what you want? Do people like this? Are references good? Do you guys like Ready Player One? Non-ironically, let's just go ahead and play it safe.
2, we're doing it.
Let's go ahead and play it safe, and just have you come back too. We might be doing a shot-for-shot remake of Spider-Man 2. Let's just stay posted. So that's kind of what's going on. And there's rumors of the guy from the first Spider movie that says, "If you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us."
Yeah,
that guy's coming. Yeah, that guy's coming. The kid that had a car thrown at him in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, he's going to be there for whatever the hell reason.
What are the chances?
I think we also went to college with that guy.
We went to college with a lot of people who are doing a lot of things, but that's an off-mic conversation. What do you think? What do you think the chances are that Tom Holland, that I can talk him into letting me be Spider-Man for the next one? Like, he's already done it for like 5 of them.
Yeah, exactly. And
I feel like I was in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, you were in Spider-Man 2.
Let me be Spider-Man now.
Uh-huh. And because like you've done your due diligence. You know the ropes.
I've seen the movies.
You know the character. Like, you know the moves.
I've read one comic book.
You were in a scene with Spider-Man. You're basically Spider-Man.
I feel like I'm Spider-Man at this point. And it's kind of fucked up if they don't let me be Spider-Man.
So we're shooting just whenever this whole thing is over. So probably never.
Sure.
Yeah. And so maybe in that time, just learn how to do a flip. Because I feel like whenever Tom Holland first got to be Spider-Man, a lot of the news outlets were like really just wanting us to know he could do a flip.
He can do so many flips, though.
He can do a lot of flips.
Really
it's funny because, you know, he does the one flip, and then you're like, that was pretty great. And then he's like doing a lot of flips, and then you're kind of like, all right, you know,
we get
like
it,
there is a there's a certain, you know, lead into how many flips you can do. Like 4 flips, that's amazing. Like 7 flips, like, all right, fuck off. Like don't stop being such a show off. You know, like I bet I could do it too if all I did was do flips all the time.
I don't want to get you off the Spider-Man thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we have a lot to cover.
We do have a lot to cover.
Have
yes.
you seen the film Love Actually?
I have seen the film Love Actually.
Have you seen the deleted scene where the kid does the gymnastics?
I have not.
Okay.
Is it Tom Holland?
It's not Tom Holland. So I haven't seen Love Actually, but I've seen this scene.
Really specific lead in. It's like, man, I haven't seen any of The Walking Dead, but I know all the deleted scenes.
Yes. Well, no, it's from Drawfee. They talked about it this week, but there's a real scene that they real filmed where the kid who runs through the airport at the end, apparently in the movie he's like a drummer, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
In the movie, he's a drummer. Well, they had an alternate version where they're like, what if instead of being a drummer, he's a really good gymnast? And so they have an alternate cut of the movie where they filmed this scene where he's like, I need to get to this girl. So when he runs to the airport, he just fucking backflips through the airport the whole time. And it's really crazy. And they were like, they filmed the whole thing with someone who is clearly an adult man doing the stunts. And then they were like, nah, this is stupid. And they reshot it all and made him a drummer or whatever. I've never seen the movie, but I feel like I get it from this one deleted scene.
Yeah.
It's really funny. And anyway, that's how Tom Holland became Spider-Man.
That was him. That was Tom Holland. Clearly, it was Tom Holland as the kid, and he felt so slighted that he was not asked to do his own stunts that he was like, I swear to God, I'm gonna learn how to do all these flips.
Anyway, if you haven't seen that, guys, look it up. It's really funny. Even if you haven't seen the movie, I haven't seen the movie, and this scene is still really funny. All right, we have got so much to cover.
So much to cover.
And we're gonna be filming Spider-Man 17 or whatever, so we're gonna be busy next couple weeks.
We're gonna be really, yeah. Sam has to learn how to do flips. I have to get an equal Guy Fieri fire shirt, and I have to find one of those. Maybe I'll ask Guy. He's probably going to be in it too.
Who knows, man? Big tent. So let's do a script doctor.
Is anyone a doctor?
Okay, so a little news about script doctor.
Okay.
I think this will be the last entry in our Saving 1984 series.
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
I know there are like 20 of them, but the thing is, we're hitting a point. There are two kinds of shows that get canceled. There's shows that get canceled because they're weird, and there's shows that get canceled because they're boring.
Okay.
And I really like the weird ones, but we're getting to a point, and 1984 was an incredibly weird year for NBC television. Yeah. But we're getting to a point where the only shows left are boring. They're just like rip-offs of other shows. And the criteria, basically, when I was reading the premises of these shows, I was like, this week is not included. This week is funny. But like, I was reading the premises, and it's like, if this wasn't part of the series, I wouldn't pick this show. Because I don't pick every NBC TV show that was one season long, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So we got to a point where, and maybe I'll come back. I've got some honorable mentions that I want to do.
Maybe we'll do some deleted scenes. We'll throw them all together in like one kind of big thing.
Well, there's two specifically that I just want to bring up. There's not a lot of legs on them. We definitely can't rewrite them for specific reasons. But there's some honorable mentions to the Saving 1984 canon. But I think this last show is going to be like, this will fit right in our secret comic book. It works with that, but also it's like kind of a silly premise. Everything else is pretty boring, and I don't know, maybe we'll return to it, but I feel like, and our second segment, I think, definitely exemplifies this. I feel like Script Doctor after this will just be too normal, and some of the fun is like, holy shit, television is so weird.
Okay.
And so I think this is our last one for Saving 1984. I'm going to find some other NBC sitcoms. Maybe we'll even go to other networks, but probably not. There's a lot of NBC sitcoms. So,
wow, I'm really gonna miss Saving 1984. Well, but I think it's a good idea because can you turn off your microphone for a second?
Yeah. I'm not recording anymore
because of our secret comic book.
Yeah, like we
don't want like a ton of people. We don't want there to be all sorts of characters.
Well, that's kind of actually my point. Is like after this, it's like. There's no way to fit this into a comic book, and also it got canceled because it's boring. It's not My Mother the Car, which got canceled because it's fucking bananas, or Jennifer's Left Here, or Mr. Smith, where these shows are just fucking crazy.
Yeah,
they're this show wasn't. It was just boring. I was like, I don't.
Yeah, we need some shows that will tie into our universe as well as we're like the first Avengers was like 5 people or whatever. We can't be throwing. I mean, we barely had place for the modern Hardy Boys or whatever their names were.
Did you see that they're making a Hardy Boys?
Yeah, you sent that to me.
Who fucking beat us to it?
I know they beat us to it, which is like weird because like, what does Hulu even own? Like, how did Hulu?
CW Hardy Boys, apparently.
Dude, who's giving you the rights to Hardy Boys? Who just handed over that IP to Hulu?
I literally was
Man,
trying to
what
look
a
up cover
nightmare.
art for the episode, like as a joke, and I typed in Hardy Boys, and I saw what is the Hulu version of CW Hardy Boys. They got me. They got me. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about Legmen or CW Hardy Boys. We are talking about the Rousters, which is
Okay.
the families. It is about a family of modern day bounty hunters. Their last name is not Rouster, which was pretty confusing. And actually, I watched a significandant amount of the show and I couldn't figure out why they were called Rousters.
Rouster. Like, I feel like a rouster is like someone that, someone that rousts. It's like you get things kind of. I think it's like you're rowdy.
Well, they're a rowdy bunch. So
Yeah.
okay. So the first episode is an hour and a half long movie. Not a strong start. Pretty weird.
Oh, and I'm seeing that it is the only thing apart from episode 12 that actually has a description.
Yes, because it is an hour and a half long movie. Again,
I am seeing some hyphens. The hyphens that are armored car heisting brothers. So if I wasn't buckled in now, I'm here now.
Well, so here's the thing. It does fit again, and this is when I was reading this, I thought, okay, if you love it, let it go. It was actually the description of episode 1 that said the Saving 1984 series is over, because this fits perfectly, but I don't want to overstay our welcome. This also has several episodes where the writer is to be announced. I can't emphasize this enough. The show is finished and came out. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know.
No,
I don't know why people put that.
It's like a deleted tweet. Like you just gonna be like, I had nothing to do with this.
Well,
it was Steven Spielberg. He was like, nah, I was working on E.T. or something.
I assume that what it means is the Wikipedia editor was like, I don't know, but I don't know what they decided to put there. They could have just put a hyphen.
Yeah,
but instead they put to be announced, which I
think it'd have been funnier if they put NA, like not applicable.
Yeah, or something. I don't know, but they put to be announced, which is very weird.
Okay, so I'm seeing that the first episode / movie was directed by a guy named E.W. Swackhammer, and take it away, Sam.
Yeah. So the series is about a family who is descendant from famous real lawman Wyatt Arp. He's a real ass guy who really lived in the Old West and was a sheriff and stuff. I guess he was famous back in the 50s.
Oh no,
he's not from the 50s, but
in the 50s. For those that don't know, Wyatt Earp was a old lawman who got really famous from this showdown at the OK Corral, which was like the only time that there was ever an actual shootout in old Western culture, and that shootout was so famous it defined how people see the cowboy times.
Oh, so that old thing in like Western movies where they like.
Yeah,
it happened.
It happened one time, and then every movie was like, "Wouldn't that be sick if that was happening all the time?" And then now, like, if you just have a passive understanding of the Old West, it's just like, "Yeah, dude, there are shootouts all the time."
Well, I don't know how legal this is, but apparently the people at NBC said, "We're gonna make a fictional show about his grandson, who I'm sure is real. I'm sure there's a real Wyatt Arp." But they were like,
"Is definitely alive." Let's see.
Wyatt Arp III is the main character. He is a bouncer at a county fair. His mother, Wyatt Arp's daughter, that can't be right. His mother, who married Wyatt Arp's son, Wyatt Arp II, is a bounty hunter.
Okay.
And the brother is Ernest from Ernest the movies.
Oh. I see him now. I see him.
Yes. It is Jim Varney, Ernest. So he's the brother, and he's an inventor and con artist or something. And anyway.
One thing, and I think this is just for you, and if the audience is playing along at home, you can kind of see, if you're looking at this, and if you just put your clicker right above Jim Varney, and you can kind of see his picture that comes up with his
Doesn't
article
look
on
like Jim
Wikipedia.
Varney, huh?
That is a real sexy picture of him.
Yeah, I would not. I mean,
that
if I
is
was Jim
not
Varney,
how
that's what I would pick.
This is not how I perceive Jim Varney.
I had to
But,
click
like,
through several links to be like, it's Ernest, right?
his headshot is like he's doing like an Adrian Brody, like sort
Yeah.
of like
Smoldering.
sexy
Yeah.
boy thing. That's really great. Anyway,
Good for you, Jim Varney. James
Yeah.
Albert Varney Jr.,
James
as you're
Albert
called on your
Varney.
Wikipedia. Anyway, Ernest is the brother. It seems the show has a lot of legs, but is broadly boring. That's my guess. From what I saw of it, I think it's
Okay.
just boring. And there's like, let me just read episode 1, the description. And I think audience, much like, oh, did I tell you I watched a second episode of Legman? So
Okay.
I went back and I saw episode 3 or 5, whichever other one is out there. And I think Legman has a similar problem that I'm about to describe here, which is like, there's just too much shit going on. Like if now knowing that this is a movie, it makes a little bit more sense, but like there's just too much shit going on. So during a very busy week at Slade Town, which is the circus they work at, Wyatt has to bring down a trio of armored car heisting brothers, help a woman find her daughter who's run away because her mother's drunken boyfriend is physically abusive, put a stop to both an insurance defrauder's bogus claim that he hurt his neck after falling off one of the carnival's merry-go-rounds,
whoa,
and to Evan's own money-making scams,
what?
and locate Mickey the lion after he gets loose from his cage. Now,
This
it is an
is
hour
a-
and a half long movie.
This is a bastardization of the semicolon. Like this,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just throwing semicolons in here willy nilly.
Well, and they don't even do it right because also they start adding ands at the end. Like, it's not even... No, it's a horribly written description.
Okay.
The show's a mess. I think the only things we need to keep, Bounty Hunter. I think we make them all bounty hunters.
Yeah,
Who the
I want
fuck
to bring
cares?
this to your attention. It says Amanda wants to carry on the family tradition of keeping law and order through bounty hunting.
Yes.
That is like that is being like, I'm the great granddaughter of Commissioner Gordon, and you know what he would love? Me being a vigilante. I'm going to commit crimes.
Now, here's the thing. Okay, there's the other thing I want to keep, which is that Slade, their boss, is named Cactus Jack. His name is Jack Slade, and they call him Cactus Jack, which is a cool name. So I'd like to keep Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
I think they should all be
Isn't
bounty
Cactus
hunters.
Jack
It
what
is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
I wonder if there's any
Travis
relation.
Scott's clothing brand, record label. I don't know. I don't listen to Travis Scott. So let me just. Okay, so I've seen the film, but I think you can probably pick out what's wrong with this here, and I alluded to it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the main character is Wyatt Earp the Third.
Yeah.
Okay. His shotgun-toting mother, Amanda, wants to carry on the, quote, family tradition of keeping law and order. Do you see the problem?
What's the problem?
Wyatt Earp the Third is a descendant of Wyatt Earp.
Oh.
Wyatt Earp the Second would be his father.
Yeah.
How is Amanda's family tradition?
I think she wants to, she may have married into the lifestyle, like if.
It sounds like her dad is also Wyatt Earp, which is pretty weird. This seems like a sort of uncle-father situation, but maybe she just really got into her husband's.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he's working as a bouncer at this traveling Slade Town carnival. So like she's probably like trying to get a little pep in his step and wanting
she shoots
to.
a lot. She shoots a lot of guns a lot, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's a big part of the trailer for the show.
Okay.
Is her just shooting guns.
Obviously, this is what I'm saying. Obviously, what we want to keep is these guys are a mess. These guys are a mess of a family, and I know we don't like to darken things up.
We do it a lot.
We do it a lot. That's why, but we can't, we can't keep doing it. These guys are absolute maniacs. It reminds me of the movie that me and I think 5 other people saw. It called Smokin' Aces. And in the movie Smokin' Aces, it is a movie about this one guy who is going to, like, he has a hit on him. And the entire movie takes place in a hotel where a bunch of assassins have like come to kill him, and all the assassins are rolling around in gangs where they all have like kind of a fun little thing.
Like the Warriors.
Yeah. And I think that they're these ones assassins, and they're like neo-Nazis, and there are these other assassins, and they're like super futuristic and cool. There are these ninja assassins, and they like all converge on each other, and they're all fighting each other, and it's really silly because it's like, how are the Nazis going to fight the ninjas or whatever, that sort of thing.
Cool.
So I love that these guys, I want to keep everything about them. I want to keep this country bear jamboree sort of vibe going.
Except they're all bounty hunters.
Except they're all bounty hunters.
Okay.
The one with the lion, he is a bounty hunter now. And I want that, like, traveling bounty hunters, that is inherently cool. And especially traveling, like, this is like Deliverance, the bounty hunters is great.
Deliverance.
This whole thing is great.
Also, we should keep Jim Varney.
Of course. Even though he tragically passed away in the year 2000.
Jim Varney died?
Jim Varney has been dead.
Okay.
So,
never mind. Maybe no on Jim Varney.
Yeah. No. Yeah. A quick. We got in touch with his people. It was a soft pass on the Rousters reboot. So I'm thinking, people love crime shows. People love them. People love Breaking Bad. People think that Better Call Saul is not as good as Breaking Bad. And to that I say, you haven't watched enough episodes.
Yeah.
People love Ozark. They love these shows where it's like criminals doing crime things, but in their context where, Walter White, he's a science teacher, but he's awesome.
We hit, and The Wire also. Let's just talk about the 2 shows we ever talk about.
Breaking
Bad and The Wire.
Yeah. So, but people what I'm thinking, I'm thinking that this is NBC's answer to Ozark, which is doing great. It takes place in this southern environment, and you have this. It already has the vibes of a dysfunctional family. Right. People love dysfunctional families. People cannot get enough of Schitt's Creek. They can't get enough of The Middle. I don't know.
Arrested Development.
So we can keep the comedy like
Matthew
that.
Project property.
Exactly. So they're already primed up to be, kind of a, even like the way I'm looking at them, like this could be like, it could have a Squidbillies vibe because people couldn't get enough of that in a certain demographic.
What if we take that turn? We have not taken that turn on any of these shows.
Ooh, what's the turn?
What if they're animated?
Oh my gosh.
Make these bad boys cartoons.
Oh man.
Why
we
not?
haven't done that yet. And we talk about animation all the time.
Pretty much every other episode. We do a gritty reboot or we talk about cartoons. Let's put that shit together. Gritty reboot cartoon is not good, but let's make them. Maybe they are country bears. And also they're
people love gritty reboot cartoons. People can't get enough of BoJack Horseman. They can't get enough of Rick and Morty.
Evangelion.
They love it. So
Gundam Wing.
And it also helps that
reboots,
Cactus Jack Slade, which obviously he's gonna be a cactus.
Yeah, of course.
He looks like a country bear. Like all these people look like that.
Oh, is that who that is in the poster?
Yes,
I was trying to sort who. I knew who the other 4 characters were. I did not know who Cactus. That's Cactus.
Yeah.
Jack. That makes
sense. Clearly we can do it's going to be like an F is for family sort of thing where it's not going to be like that. It's going to be something along the lines of, because it's animated, people are going to misinterpret the silly tone. But when you watch it, you're just like, whoa, you're dealing with some heavy subjects here.
I got you.
The Rousters.
Because they're
bounty hunters. They're bounty hunters,
and maybe they've got some real
this is gonna solve a lot of our problems, because with animation you can do so much more. You can do so much more violence, but you can also do one of the shows that I think, and I'm going to go off on a tiny tangent about this just to talk about my deep love and respect for this show. People think that King of the Hill is a show that you could do live action, but to that I say, no, you cannot. King of the Hill is about a regular family and their regular neighbors, but the way it is shot is so beautiful and it does so much in the way of cinematography that you cannot do in a sitcom show, and it uses the medium of animation to tell more creative stories in a more creative, like camera working way than you could in any other medium, like live action wise. And I don't think it's celebrated enough for that.
No,
so
so
I'm thinking that we can even do even more deception by having it even stylized like King of the Hill. You know, people are just going to think it's like a regular show. No. And it's going to have lots of fun, wacky adventures, but all in this lens of like, you know, not Simpsons wacky, but like King of the Hill wacky, where it's like, it feels more grounded, but it's something you could never do in a live action context. And I don't know if that's more money or less money, probably more money, because NBC seems to be using a lot of their money on this.
On Rousters or on our project?
On all the projects that we've seen.
We're gonna make them so much goddamn money. It doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, I think with this, like, you could, oh my goodness, like with something like an animated project, you could have one of the main characters, whatever his name is, you could have him like have nightmares where he sees his grandfather, Wyatt Earp, and it's like,
he could be a ghost that follows him around and makes
and he's like,
you can make his
like grandson,
manifest.
I'm disappointed in you, things like that.
Yes,
oh my gosh, there's so much we can do. Should we redo all of Saving 1984 and just make them all animated?
You know, of course. Well, hey, Zach.
Yeah.
That's what the secret comic book is.
Oh, right.
Fucking forgot about our whole bit.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Okay. Then yeah, let's not make this animated.
Yeah, fuck it. Why don't we just actually, never mind. Anyway, we're at 30 minutes, so can we get into our second segment? Oh my God.
So thank you all so much for coming to Saving 1984. Pre-order of Something Secret coming up pretty soon. So
no joke, I am making covers for the comic book, so you actually probably will see those soon on Instagram. So follow us on Instagram because you'll probably see covers for our secret comic book.
Yes, but a very fitting conclusion to Saving 1984. Keep posted.
Did we land on something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cartoon.
we landed
all
on
bounty hunters.
We landed on getting our own bag and not giving NBC many more of our ideas.
Yeah. Oh, also, Ernest can be in it because it's a cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Anyway.
Okay,
so this next segment is reality check. We're bringing it back. Wait, before you turn off the podcast, we're not going to talk about Bachelor. I promise. Anyway.
So welcome to Reality Check. For those long-suffering listeners, Reality Check, you will remember, is when we talk about the reality shows. It was mostly The Bachelor. Sometimes it was the show The Circle. Sometimes it was that one where they dated... Yeah, Love is Blind. But now we have dipped into the vault. We have gone all the way back to the magical year of 2003.
The mission was accomplished. Everything was going great.
The mission was accomplished. Fox was making so much money with American Idol, and ABC just had the previous year launched a little startup show called The Bachelor. And Fox, always trying to get in their bag, they had a response to this idea.
They did.
And the response to this idea was a show called Mr. Personality.
Can I get my background on this show? Because I sent this to you a couple hours ago, and it was honestly, I was really rev up to the Rousters. I was like, let's do Script Doctor. It'll be really funny, and we'll zibba zabba for 30 minutes, and then we'll do Script Doctor, and we'll call it a night. And then I remembered, I had a flashbulb memory. Much like The Slap, which started Script Doctor in the first place, I had this flashbulb memory of a commercial I saw one time in 2003. And I remember when I was, 10 years old? Yeah, 10, 11 years old. I remember thinking, what the hell is this show? And I remember the promo to this day, and it just flashed into my mind. And I think the original premise, what I was thinking, and I don't want to talk too long because I want to get into it. The original premise was, what if we did a segment called Looking for Love, and it's like Script Doctor, but it's just very bizarre dating reality shows. And that might still happen, but I got so overwhelmed by the first entry that I can't, there's no segment, it's just this.
It still might be a segment. However, that segment does not work with shows that are inherently perfect.
Again, the premise is not to change them. It's more of like an archaeological study of like, here is a show that existed. Because the solution of how do you fix it is you take it into the backyard and shoot it. Like, that is the solution to this show. But I remember, clearly being like,
that would
what
be
the
like
fuck?
killing the last dodo bird. Like, we have to study this thing.
Okay, and speaking of studying, would you please explain the premise to Mr. Personality?
Okay.
Oh, I have a quote. Actually, I could just read it.
I don't know if a quote is going to just give the audience the horror of what this show is.
Oh, you have to watch it, by the way. There's an episode on YouTube, and you have to see it. Like, honestly, stop the episode and go watch Mr. Personality episode 2, because that's all we're going to talk about for the rest of the episode.
So, I am going to do my very best to describe just the basic premise of the show. The premise of the show is there is this woman who, it's much like The Bachelorette. It's basically a clone of The Bachelorette. However,
with a twist.
The twist, the hook to pull the audience in is that all of the men are wearing masks. Now, I want you to imagine a mask.
Especially in 2020.
2020, no, this is 2003.
I'm saying right now, the people listening to it. Imagine.
Oh, yes. Wow. We are so topical. This is how we're going to get our podcast version of a Pulitzer. This is how we finally take them all down. We're coming for you, New York Times. So imagine a mask, but a mask that covers your entire face that is meant to be a kind of tantalizing in a romantic show.
Yeah.
Are you imagining a Phantom of the Opera mask? Are you imagining a mask like Zorro would wear?
Ooh.
Well, you are completely wrong, because the masks that they have are full head covering Shrek looking things. If any of our
it's a balaclava with a Dr. Doom mask on top.
If any of our listeners are familiar with Bible Man,
yes.
It is just this entire head covering that is so smooth. But they etch in, like, it looks like handsome Squidward. They all look like handsome Squidward. And it is horrible.
Let me read. Okay, I have a
you
quote
cannot
from the
in
mask
any
designer.
way, shape, or form look sexy or intriguing. And it would have been so easy to run to a party city and just get some like masquerade masks.
Yes, because that's what the promo. Or not the promo, but that's the logo. It's Mr. Personality, and in the middle, I guess it's not in between Mr. and Personality, but in the middle of the logo, there's like a Zorro mask, but it's white. And that's not what they're... Okay, here is a quote from the mask designer, because I found a short article about just like a retrospective. There's not a lot in it, but there's some funny stuff. This is from the mask designer. I thought it was stupid.
You nailed it, sister.
I was always up for something that I was actually building with my hands. And I was a freelance artist. So you kind of take the job. They wanted a mask without any personality. So just a neutral mask, which even neutral is a personality. They wanted the mouths out so people could talk, but that's all. I wanted to make them more interesting. So, such an odd choice. I wanted to make them more interesting. So I made it like a beaten metal kind of sculpture. They wanted 30 metallic masks to put on the crowd of the bachelors when they first started. For the first kind of ballroom scene or something, as I recall. Very strange. 30 men in pewter silver masks that all look alike except their hair color. They wanted 10 different colored masks in the same style, and that would be assigned to each of the 10 contestants. I don't remember what happened with this. Oh my gosh, sorry. We have to come back to this. I will explain this later, but here's there's a second paragraph. I don't remember what happened with this, but they wanted me to make a special chastity mask.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead. It all sounds so absurd now, but I made it attached with leather straps that went over and around the head in such a way that you could not remove the mask. And I put metal loops on it So it was padlocked together in the back. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be a romantic show. So that if the mask spent the night with the contestant, she couldn't remove the mask to see the person. It sounds ridiculous. And to tell you the truth, I don't know if they ever used it. But they wanted me to hold the key for the chastity masks, and I was the only one that could get them out. Why the artist of the mask? Why did they give it to a producer? I don't know. But apparently the artist was the one with the key.
Why did they have her on set?
I was the only one that could get them out. I don't remember doing the actual locking anybody in the mask. Maybe they decided it was stupid. I
Oh
didn't
my
stay
gosh.
through the culmination of the whole thing. I just made everything was working. I made sure everything was working. And then I moved on.
Okay.
So they're masked men, and it's okay.
Yes.
I feel like I've explained it.
Yeah, you got the general premise.
Oh,
So
and then there's the dark room.
well, yeah, we'll get
get
to
to the
that. Don't
dark room.
I?
We'll get to the dark room.
I really want to just because there's no way that we can get into it unless we just explain the audience everything that we
Yeah,
saw
talk
and
about
like
the
kind of
show.
do like you and me a bit of a therapy session to try and just take away all the darkness that our eyes have seen.
Because we both just watched it before we got on.
Yeah. And I compelled Sam that we had to do a script doctor prior to getting into this, or it would get better would have ceased to exist. We
would
would have
just
become
be-
the Mr. Personality fan show.
There's only 2 episodes online, and we would have talked about those 2. There's 3. There's episode 1, episode 2, episode 5, I believe. We would have talked about those 3 episodes for just the rest of time, just those 3 episodes over and over again.
We would have had some sort of like Greek tragedy fall upon us, where it is our curse to just be talking about this for the rest of time.
Okay, so night 1.
So, well, I'll introduce the people. So we have.
We
the
have
show,
to get the jacuzzi.
Yeah, no, don't you worry. The show is introduced with 26-year-old Haley. She is a busy businesswoman who only cares about business, and she is trying to find. She's trying to find love with all of these men, and yes, Sam.
There's a line. Okay, there's a line in the beginning that's like, she's a woman that has everything, but has only tried dating in the traditional way, which I assume in this context means she hasn't dated 20 men in freaky masks all at once.
Yeah, I'm looking
I
at
don't
the
know
more
what
I'm
they
looking
meant by that.
the more I'm looking at these masks, the more they look like MF Doom, that
They
rapper.
are. They're Dr. Doom and a balaclava because you can't see the back of their head because they're wearing a balaclava, except without a mask.
Yeah.
Or with a mouth. And then it's crazy.
So the episode 2 starts. It's like night. It's like they have just now gotten down to like 10 guys. Like they have gotten rid of, I think, 10. Like the episode before talks about how they had got rid of a bunch of people prior to, and
because they started with 20, and it seems like the way that she cut it in half is they all did ballroom dancing with her while 19 men watched. And from the clip they showed, there doesn't seem to be any music. So they were just sort of silently ballroom dancing while... No, there was 30, because that was what the artist said. While 29 other mute men in silver masks watched them dance to no music. So she narrowed it down to 10, and they all got different colored masks so we could tell them apart.
Yes, and the colored masks are very important because if you're looking at the promotional material, you'll see that in the promotional material, they're all wearing silver masks, but in reality, they look like luchadors. Like they are wearing. There is a yellow one, there is a bright green one, there is a bright blue one, there's a blue one, there's a silver one. Like they look like an off-brand Power Rangers crew.
So stupid.
And no amount of any expression they can do, it just look like they will show a scene and then cut to someone reacting, but the reaction is this hideous neon green mask, and they're just like, you can just see their eyes and their open mouths, and it looks like I'm watching a surrealist painting come to life.
Or when they cut to Mark at the top of the stairs, it's just like, dude, this is so fun. Or they cut to Will, and he's sitting in that chair, and he's so mad, but he's just in a stupid silver mask.
So we have the contestants. They are all wearing silly masks, and their jobs include, but are not limited to, there is a real estate agent, there is a motivational speaker, an attorney, someone who's unemployed, and a millionaire. Who's the millionaire? Wow, what's your job? It's like in Gilligan's Island where they're just like a movie star. So we can introduce all these people. And the one thing that I don't think, apart from you watching the episode, you'll be able to fully understand is just how wackadoo the editing is in this show.
So weird.
The
so
show
confusing.
It moves at a breakneck speed, but nothing is happening. It is so surreal where it is filmed like a wedding reception video with confessionals spliced in the middle of them.
Or like they're cutting in the middle of sentences. Like it just doesn't make any sense how it's put together.
It is honestly, for how like trashy or just how overly dramatic and produced The Bachelor is, it makes me feel very nostalgic for it. Because
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, and the show forces drama by having these slow moments of them having conversations. Each conversation clip between her and another guy is no more than 15 seconds long, and then it cuts back to this there are
and
2 nights.
All in masks.
They're all in masks. There are 2 nights, and in both of them they have parties where the guys drink a little too much, and it's showing them. And when I say a wedding reception video, it's just showing them dancing. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, this is probably really funny if I was there. Like if I know these guys, then this is funny. Like it's like.
Or
like if you're,
it's funny.
It's very funny.
Very funny.
It is,
but it's a different.
It is very, it is very enjoyable, no matter if you know these people or not. So they have these parties, and it's interspliced in these 2 conversations. There's one guy in the silver mask. I forgot what his name is. He's the millionaire. He's a fucking psychopath. He is continuously following her around and like leaning into doors that she's on the other side of. Yeah. And just like
he's the guy who like squats down and looks under the door, right?
Yeah. He's that guy. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So
I mean, mostly I want to talk about Mark in the green mask, but like
yeah.
We will talk about the guy in the blue mask.
The things that I really like, there's just so much good 2003, just some good stuff. God bless the saint that uploaded this video, because there is a trailer for X-Men 2, which is cool as hell.
There's no way we could talk about these commercials before we talk about the jacuzzi.
No, I know. But I just wanted to say,
every word of dialogue is funny in that scene.
I am so sorry, because I want to get to the sailboat. But Sam, please talk about the jacuzzi.
So it's the first night. They're all torn up drunk, except Haley. They're all so fucking drunk. And there's a series of shots. It might be 8 shots. It's so hilarious. So this isn't explained, but the implication is because they can't show off their bodies. I don't really know why. But all of the guys are in their masks, and they jump into the pool and then jump into the jacuzzi, but they're all wearing t-shirts, which is very funny because they proceed to get very angry over this scene, but they're all in like stupid masks and wearing white t-shirts. So they're in t-shirts, and Haley comes out.
But mind you, them getting mad is just like they'll cut to a dialogue of being like it's just everything's happening so fast. Like someone's mad, and it cuts to another person being mad at a completely separate thing. Like there is absolutely no time. They could be having a conversation with anybody. They could be having a conversation
about anything
with the lady holding the chastity key. Like they could be talking to anybody, but like it's all spliced together so fast. It's like it is so disorienting.
I'm not gonna do justice to this, and there were so many moments that like my main thought was like, hell yeah, and like just because these guys suck. But I think you've listened to 78 episodes of this show. I think maybe probably understand my humor a little bit. They're bad people, but that is unique. I mean, it's just so funny to me. So
yeah. Because we love liar boys. We love bad people.
We love these bad people.
It's just like because I was trying to explain this to some people a while ago, and they're just like, "Why do you think it's so funny when people do that?" It's like, because how did you piece those words together? Like
Why did you think that was good?
Of all of the things that you could have possibly have said and done, why was like, she better be cute to look at, because if she's a pain in the ass, I'm gonna slap that ass. And it's just like, what?
What? And they don't say that in this show.
Yeah.
What they do say, so she comes out, she's in a bikini, they are in t-shirts in a jacuzzi, which is hilarious. In masks, which I can't state enough. So she gets in the hot tub. They're all pretty drunk, they're all having fun. One guy's like, "Whoa, Haley has a banging bod." And then Mark comes over and squats. Imagine you're standing up straight.
Okay.
At the edge of a hot tub. And then you just squat fully down. You don't bend at all. This will come up later. Or no, is this that, or does he lay full on his stomach? He does something very weird to approach this woman. And he's "Hey, can we come inside and talk?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." It's basically the Mr. Personality version of like, "Can I steal you away?" It's pretty classic dating reality show moments. This is the whole scene. And then it cuts to a guy and he goes, "Man, we didn't even really get to get a good look at her." Which, like, what? You said that into a camera out loud? He was like, "Yeah, it sucked that she left because we didn't even get to get a good look at her and her banging bod." It was so they go to Mark, and Mark goes upstairs. Mark is a motivational speaker / hypnotist whose main gig on the show is his plan is to hypnotize Haley into falling in love with him. And he does a couple things that I don't know shit about hypnotism. You used to live with a magician. Maybe you have some more insights on this, but there were a couple things that I was looking for. So he's doing this very rhythmic, like touching of her hand the whole time. Everything he's saying is psychotic. Everything he's saying is completely insane and psychotic and like whatever. He's just being incredibly weird. So they talk. Will is pouting down at the front room. I can't explain this whole show. Every second of it is gold. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So whatever. He's doing all this weird touching and he's like looking really deep into her eyes. And they've already established he's trying to hypnotize her. So she goes down. She talks to Will, blah, blah, blah. She talks to some of these other losers, whatever. Get to the end. And this is the difference between The Bachelor and this show. Because The Bachelor would have made this like a 2-episode story arc.
Yeah.
She's walking up the stairs with Blue Mask or something. And Mark is walking down the stairs at the same time. And for whatever reason, I don't know if you noticed this, it's really quick. They darken the screen and they light up this little circle. It's like a spotlight.
Yes. Yes, I remember.
They do a little spotlight on his hand, sort of grazing the bottom of her skirt or dress as they walk by. So she's going up the stairs, he's going down the stairs. He kind of looks back at her and grazes her dress, which is like weird knowing everything about Mark, but not that remarkable, except for the remarkable. They highlight this moment, which I thought was incredibly weird. Because I'm like, is he negging her? Is this pickup game? Is this hypnosis? Like what? And it never comes back up.
Yeah.
So anyway, they all get incredibly drunk. Let's just skip to the sailboat because we got to get to the Blue Mask guy.
Exactly. So I'm not even going to spin that much justice on the sailboat. Basically, they get on the sailboat
pretty funny,
and they have some fucking Donkey Kong like menu music playing so loud in the background. And it is so jarring and it is just so confusing. Basically, she's on the boat. And then at one point she gets like at the end of the date, all the guys talk to her. She gets off the boat and she goes like, "None of them were doing it for me." And I go, "Why are we here?"
Well, wait, what about Pete, the guy in the green mask? Who is definitely or Stan?
Oh, the guy in the green mask, the one that, his soulmate thing?
Where he like grabs her and she like gets like pulls her legs on top of him and then she's like, "I don't like this," and he's like, yeah, and then he doesn't move her at all, and then it cuts to a picture which is the cover art of him just like fuck that one up. You did, Stan. You did fuck that one right up.
Also, there's
this translates, audience.
Yeah. Also, there is, because it's 2003. There's a very brief moment of gay panic where a guy says something along the lines of, he goes like, anybody can be a soulmate. You and me can be soulmates. And then it cuts to the other guy, and then there's like a like that sort of face, and like it is
so funny.
Like it's as if they
You
look
could
to
be
the
my
audience and go
soulmate.
like, what's wrong with this guy? Anyway, forget the
No,
sailboat.
wait, Zach.
Okay, all right.
What's wrong with that guy? That was an incredibly weird thing to say. He goes, because he earlier had said he was being creepy the night before and was like being way too much, and they were giving him shit about it because he was like, he says you can take my breath away, but he says it in this really crazy way where he's like, you make my breath go away when you take it. And it's like, what the fuck? So anyway, they're giving him shit about it. And he's like, yeah, I think she's my soulmate. And they're like, for real? Like, we've been here for like 6 hours. And he's like, well, anybody can be soulmates. Like, it's not, it's, friendships, soulmates, you could be my soulmate. Anyone can be soulmates. We might be soulmates. And the guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Which, like, is incredibly weird when he said it. But we got the luau. We got to get to the
so they go to this
party.
luau. It's basically all the guys dressed in their stupid masks, and they're wearing Hawaiian shirts, and they're dancing around. And much like the night before, they are getting blitzed. They are getting
drunk.
NFL blitzed, and it's just them dancing around. And it's like it's shots of them dancing, but that's not important because what is important is there is this lawyer. And he is a total tool. He's in this blue mask.
This is blue mask guy. Okay.
He picks up on one of the luau dancers, takes her up to his room, and then there is a scene where they go behind a closed door. He takes off his mask in front of her, and it's all...
We don't see this. This is in a bathroom.
It's all in like those subtitle things where it's like they're filming a door, and then you're just hearing what's happening on the other side of the door because of like subtitles. And then
because he closed the bathroom door.
Closed the
bedroom door. And so the crew went out to the balcony and is filming through the window, and he's inside the bathroom, inside the bedroom. So he's like away.
So there is this moment when they're talking, and if this moment was not staged, I will eat my own shoe because
really? I thought it was totally real.
She says like what, like, why is this one girl so cool? She's not all that great, and I'll show you. And
no.
then
She said, no, you got it wrong.
I did not get this wrong.
She said, why is she so great? I'm better.
Okay,
I'll show you.
Same difference.
I feel like it's an important difference, but fine.
Fine. I'm great, whatever. And then the next thing is a subtitle that just says zip.
And then
they do
a
this
series of letters that I just don't, I mean.
And then, and then after this whole whatever, they do this like post-coital interview where he's like, nothing went on. And then she's like, I gave him a blowjob.
He goes, nothing happened in the bathroom. And it cuts to her, and it's bleeped out, but it's very obviously she says the word blow. She goes, did I blow him? That's between us. And it's like, oh, so yes.
So you did.
So yeah.
So this goes,
and
then like
she said, we fooled around a little. Did
Yeah.
I blow him? That's between us.
Yeah.
I think you did.
So while all this is going on, there's another guy who goes to the dark room. Ooh. And the dark room is just this room that is pitch black.
And she's wearing a blindfold.
And she's wearing a blindfold.
Which I didn't understand.
It's just them sitting in a room talking, and they're like feeling up each other's faces. It is super uncomfortable.
That's one of the main like premises too. Is like, you get to go to the dark room, and then you can take off your mask, and she can feel your face.
So,
which like, what is she gonna glean from that?
So one of the things that I noticed immediately from the guy he went to the dark room, Red Mask. One of the things I noticed immediately about him was he had a receding hairline. And I was like, boy, oh boy, I hope they don't bring this up. And you bet your sweet ass.
She also noticed immediately.
She was like, he's going bald. So, and I was just like, damn, like, damn, girl.
And like cut to later, like she eliminates some other people, and she's like, I had a feeling this guy probably wasn't attractive under the mask, so I don't really care to get rid of him. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Or one guy. Okay, we got to talk about the line. We got to talk about our boy Stan.
Yes, we will talk about Stan. I'm wondering if there's any more. Oh, yes, we have to very, very briefly. Actually, it's not going to be brief because it's the thing that I want to hit hard on the most, and that's when we'll get to the conclusion of this episode and possibly the conclusion of our podcast careers. They go to this room where they have a bunch of hidden cameras, but the hidden cameras is just edited together footage of what the camera crew has shot together.
Yeah,
and Haley can watch the camera crew. And at this point in time, you're probably wondering, what's going on? Like, who is in charge of this? Like in the Bachelor, Chris Harrison's there every damn second. Like he's walking around. You know who Chris is. Who is piloting this shipwreck?
Who's the Chris of this show?
who is at the helm of this Titanic? And it is none other than Monica Lewinsky.
Who I will say I will not hear a bad word about.
That Monica Lewinsky, in the year 2003, the year of our Lord, was hosting this show. And she is so important that I'd say that it wasn't until about the 40-minute mark that she makes an appearance, and my jaw hit the floor.
Oh, that's so funny, because I knew that beforehand.
I thought that Monica Lewinsky they was just in this room. It had yet not occurred to me that she was hosting the show. In my worldview, I was like, this dumbass Fox show just brought Monica Lewinsky back into the public eye for this bullshit, just to look at hidden cameras.
So in reading about this episode, they literally were like, before this, because obviously all the Clinton stuff happened. They were like, before this, she was selling handbags. That was like her job. I don't know how profitable that was, but whatever. That was her job. And she had done an interview with HBO a year before. Like this was like how she was going to restart her career, was hosting Mr. Personality.
Yeah.
But they apparently like didn't shoot a lot of footage with her. They were like, yeah, she wasn't on set a lot. They like really didn't put her that much in the show.
Goodness gracious. What a Fox in the year 2000 move to make, weird. Honestly. So let's crash this plane and let's get to the final unmasking ceremony, where if you are eliminated from the show, you have to remove your mask, show your face, and then she'll make a comment about you
weird.
In a confessional situation, or to your damn face.
Just immediately. And they say what your job is, which is weird.
They say what their job is and their first and last name, which I thought was bonkers. I was like,
it's not like she can like look up their Facebook on her phone.
But
why can't she know their last name?
They just said it, and it was like, you are doxing these dudes for no damn reason.
Well, it's 2003.
Yeah, I guess, but okay, I mean, I'm going to find out where these guys live.
You totally missed Stan unmasking himself during the party.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so sorry. Show. I am so sorry.
It's so confusing how they put it. And Pete. Okay, I have to say one thing about the dancers. This is no shade. I just have to, but it is for clarification. The women, they're in hula skirts because it's a hula party. And they just give lap dances to all of the dudes.
Yes.
Which seems odd. And again, no shade. But did they just hire strippers for this party? Or did these girls just like, yeah, I guess we're going to give lap dances to these dudes on a dating show? It was very weird. One contestant gets in trouble for it, and it's kind of boring, except for that his defense was, we didn't swap any bodily fluids, which is a fucking king response.
Quote unquote.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's so strange because The Bachelor and like all these other dating shows have like gotten into this cult like status where like if you're not there for the right reasons, you're going to get kicked off immediately. Yeah. But some of these, a good collection of these guys are just like, yeah, I'm just kind of here hanging out. Like you're wearing a mask 12 hours a day. What do you think you're doing here?
Blue Mask was literally like, I don't know, I liked the girl at the party better than Haley, so.
You're getting drunk with a bunch of strangers for like several nights in a row. Like,
but I thought it was so weird that they like, because they had they knew they were going to do the hidden camera bit, and they knew they were going to show Haley later, and they hired these girls, and again, it's more the fact that the girls stayed at the party that seemed so bizarre.
Yeah.
Because Haley goes off she's going to pick a guy and go, to the dark room. But they're like, well, what are the guys going to do? I guess we'll just let these, because there were also male dancers, but it seems like they just left.
Yes.
And then all these girls stayed, and one girl, or multiple, I wasn't totally clear, but there were multiple lap dances that were given at this party, which
Yes.
seemed incredibly weird.
Two gentlemen in masks.
On the dating
Like, what are you doing? Like, this cannot be a good experience for you. Forget it.
It's incredibly weird.
So Stan the man,
Stan's so cool.
apropos of nothing,
In the middle
just
of the party.
in the middle of the party is like, guys, I'm gonna take off my mask.
Haley, you're beautiful.
And
you're
then
wonderful,
the
you're
way
great.
it's edited is you can hear the guys going boo in the background. Like they go boo. Like, come
What are you
on,
doing, man?
What are you doing, man? And so he takes off the mask. He leaves. It is incredibly wild. Haley, mind you,
doesn't give
looks
a fuck.
Haley looks uncomfortable in this moment, but you cannot differentiate that from any of the other moments because she is uncomfortable 100% of the time.
Obviously,
At
hates being on
no
the show.
point in the show is she like in it.
I have an incredibly important detail about this show that's from this article. I don't know if this applies to Haley, but the contestants did not know about the masks until they showed up on set.
Hell yeah.
They
Hell
thought
to
they were
the yeah
going on a
about that.
regular dating show. They knew it was centered around their personalities. They did not know that they would be in pewter silver masks the entire
Good.
time. And
Excellent.
I don't know if Haley knew that either.
Excellent stuff.
But
Excellent
she-
stuff.
Hated it there.
So let's get to the end here.
Yeah, we got to get there.
Mr. Blue Mask, who definitely
knows?
did not, he definitely allegedly swapped bodily fluids with some waitress.
We did not swap
he-
bodily fluids. It's
He,
so funny.
in the way it's edited, is like a moment that would be something that, as you'd said, like The Bachelor would do like a 7-episode arc on.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they would be building this tension forever. But like the commercial break ends and he's just standing in front of everyone at the unmasking ceremony.
Yeah.
And he's just like, guys, I'm sorry. Like I'm not with this anymore. Da 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 da. And then he takes off his mask. He's off the show now. And then Monica
Right,
Lewinsky,
because he's disqualified because he took his shirt. Because he took
Yes.
his shirt. He took his mask off.
which you might be disqualified for taking off your shirt as well.
Yeah, maybe because they had to wear them in the jacuzzi.
Maybe. Monica Lewinsky says, hey, I don't want you to have like this moment, which is bizarre as hell.
But fair.
Because, yeah, but then she does this thing where to his face, she reads off the reasons why he's getting kicked off.
Oh, which she doesn't
And
do
then-
for anybody else.
Which she doesn't do for anybody else. She says this guy, it's like, you were this, and then she's like, oh, and also you maybe had sex with this other person. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you kind of buried the lead.
But she reads
But
it off a piece of paper. Like
she reads it off a
was
piece of
her
paper,
notes.
and then, but she's like, Haley was not gonna choose you. And then he goes, okay. Like,
That's great.
I'm already leaving.
Oh my
and
God, it's so
then
funny.
she lists all the reasons. They cut to him for a response, and he's just like, okay. And he leaves, and then they kick off other people. It doesn't really matter, but what does matter is Sam.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
what are you gonna say something?
Well, I was gonna say when they got to the final two, I thought they were picking between those two. And then they're like, all right, you're both off. I was like, wait, what? Like, there was no drama between 3 people and 2 people. It was just
Yeah,
like,
they
3 of them,
did
they're
do
like,
the thing
Michael,
where,
I
like,
pick you. And then it's
It
just
like
the
cuts
2 of them.
around. Yeah. And
They're
the
like,
way
"You
she
two are
said
both
their
going
names,
home."
she was like,
Oh.
Will. But so yeah, they leave. And I don't know if you noticed this, but the show ends with them getting into a little huddle, like a little football
Yes, them all
huddle.
hugging.
The episode ends with it goes like, coming up, and they do the little thing. But right before that moment, like in the show where they're like, they have champagne and they're like kind of walking around, and then the other people are doing like, as that is happening. But in this show, which is a little bit different, they all get into a little football huddle. And they're all standing like they are
6
about to
masked men.
pray before kickoff. It is the bizarrest thing. And then the next episode, they're like, and Will's gonna use, or whatever his name is gonna use mind control. And then it cuts to the guy.
Mark
and it
is gonna hypnotize them.
Mark's gonna hypnotize her. And then it cuts to this other guy going, I don't think you should be hypnotizing her.
I don't think you should be hypnotizing her.
Anyway, the show is a
So
masterpiece.
crazy.
It is the best show that has ever
The
made.
tragedy is that all 5 episodes aren't on YouTube, but like,
Yeah.
I know the finale's on. It might just be 2 because I would
Yeah.
have started with number 1. So I think it's
Yeah.
episode 2 and episode 5.
Yeah, no notes, honestly, about this show. It is
No, we're not trying to fix it.
no,
It's
but I'm
great.
saying, yeah, like it is perfect. Please, as our audience, like we implore you to just watch
Please.
this thing. Don't invest in our secret comic book. If we had one message to the people of the world, it is that Mr. Personality is a show, and it has to be seen to be believed.
Honestly, I feel bad that I didn't emphasize more earlier. You genuinely should have stopped the podcast and watched this hour-long episode because, like, I don't know what it would be like to. I mean, it was surreal watching it. I cannot imagine listening to 2 dudes on the internet describe this show. Like, you have to have seen it because there's so much stuff we couldn't even get into that is just so deeply weird about this show. Okay, we have to go.
It is absolutely perfect.
But I would like to if we can find more, because I don't know if there's a gold mine like there is with Script Doctor. But if we can find more, I would love to revamp Reality Check as a sort of freak show tour of the reality show. Because the other day I was talking to my friend Ben, frequent guest on the show, Ben, and I was talking about the story of Flavor of Love and all of the offshoot shows that came from that eventually ended in a murder. And I was telling him this story, and I realized how many weird, wacko reality TV shows I've seen. And so I would love to revamp Reality Check.
What I'm going to do right now, and then after this, I'm going directly in the intro, and I will hear no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Okay.
I am going to, Nick Fury at the end of Iron Man, I'm going to send you a list to your phone, and upon reading that list, I think that you will find that we may have a new segment in the works.
Wonderful. Okay.
Well, anyway, that's our show. Thank you all so much for coming to Get Better. You can find us on Instagram at Get Better Podcast. That's at Get_Better_Podcast on Instagram. You can also reach us at MeetTheFockers2, fockedup@gmail.com. And now we have a YouTube channel. It's at Get Better Podcast. We have our entire catalog is on there, as well as some of our best bits, like from Secret Book Club or the Saving 1984 series. And we'll be continuing to update that. And if you guys could send those to your friends and those little bite-sized clips to get more people listening to the show, that would be great. And also rate and review us in any way you can. I still have yet to know how to do that on Spotify, but I know on Apple you can rate and review us. And yeah, that's our show. So see you guys next week.
All right.
All right.
See you. Bye forever.
See you. Bye forever.